you a wheelbarrow full of bull organs. Lo and behold, 2 days later, he passed the container in mint condition and was given.
Okay. We've been thinking about his mouth and stomach. But that back door, the back door is wide open too, bro. That back door gotta be square after that. Okay, let's watch the hungriest man in history? Question mark. You know, like I don't know about him, but I'm so hungry I could eat a horse. Damn.
Hey kids, I think we can all agree that there are few pastimes more grotesque than competitive eating. The concept of a bunch of guys pushing their anatomy.
Do agree. It's like it's giving medieval entertainment. You know, like a medieval lord watching people just eat and they're like ho 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 ho. You know what I mean?
To its limits just for sport leaves a bad taste in my mouth in more ways than one. But imagine if these men didn't adopt this habit just for fun. Imagine if some gross biological error forced them to eat like this for their entire life. Introducing Tarrare. Tarrare.
Wow. That head shape is crazy. Wow. Beautiful head shape, man. Epic.
Tarrare was born in France around 1772 to a poor farming family. It's said that his appetite was so voracious that, by his teens, Tarrare could eat an entire quarter of a cow carcass in a single.
Not a horse. Not a horse, though. Not a horse, man. What if brought like a tip? Okay, I didn't say it. You did. He's French? Okay.
Day.
Bring
You'd
out
think
the
he'd
snails.
be like mega obese, but no, he only weighed 100 pounds by age 17.
What?
However, there were still a few.
Wait, how much is 100 pounds a kilogram? Because I think bro's lighter than me, bro. I think bro's lighter than... Dude, he definitely had what those professional eaters have that are like super skinny, you know? They would be like, oh, professional glizzy gobbler. 45? Okay, that's unfair, man. Why do I weigh more than this guy?
Few things that stood out about Tarrare appearance-wise. For one, he had a huge, stretched-out mouth with horribly stained teeth. He could reportedly fit
So
12
he was
eggs
British.
in his cheeks at once,
12
much
eggs?
like a chipmunk keeping its chipmunk eggs warm. Additionally, when Tarrare was full, he'd get a crazy octomom gut going, and
Damn. I believe that's called an emperor, sir. You know? I believe.
any other time, he'd have a huge flap of stretched-out skin.
Oh, man. Oh, that's... Oh, honestly... Oh, that's unfortunate, man. Oh, I didn't even think about that.
Hanging around his waist. He also stank to high hell, even by 18th century French peasant standards.
Oh, man.
He was described as reeking, quote, to such a degree that he could not be endured within the distance of 20 paces. So between all...
Oh my God. Lots of words to call him stinky. Wait, so who documented this? I do wonder. Who documented this?
this and his horrendous outhouse flooding dumps, his family had had enough. Alright, you're eating us out of house and home here. You gotta go, man. You heard me. Kick bricks, Froggy. Wow, he just called a French person a frog. That's so racist.
What?
No, it's not. They're all French. The guy just looks like a frog is all. Oh. Well, too late. I'm already offended. That's fair. Dislike. After leaving home, Tarrare was
No!
forced
French chatters, close your ears!
to beg and steal just to satisfy his gargantuan appetite. Inevitably, people began to take notice of him, and eventually he landed a job as a street performer in Paris. People would hand Tarrare entire baskets of apples, eggs, and even wine.
Like for free? Like, okay, this seems unlikely. Why would peasants like give out food for free just to see a guy eat it? You know, like...
and watch in delight as he horked him down without the slightest hesitation. Normally this went off without a hitch, except
Entertainment? Was he a Twitch streamer? Cause people give me money and all I do is sit here and yap. He was a Twitch streamer, but he was paid in food. They were like, yo, okay, this is my Twitch dono. Eat it up. Yo, that's crazy. And to think I was hating, man. Yo, they were using their Twitch Prime. By the way, if you guys didn't know this, if you have Amazon Prime, you get a free subscription every month they can use in your favorite streamer. Wink wink. Just in case you didn't know.
one time when he suffered a severe intestinal blockage. Fortunately, the crowd was kind enough to carry him to the hospital where he was treated with the strongest laxatives the 18th century had to offer. I would draw what happened next, but it would probably get my channel deleted.
No, please
so
don't.
let's just picture it for a few moments.
No, I don't want to. I'm good. I'm okay.
Moving on. Cut to the year 1792. This marks the beginning of the War of the First Coalition. Ever heard of it? Me neither. Who was in
No.
it? Fucking everyone. Anyway, Tarrare decided...
Yo! Steve SCP! Thank you for the prime! Let's go. It works.
to enlist in the war. After all, maybe that profound emptiness he was feeling was just a lack of purpose in life. Turns out, no, he really was just psychotically hungry. Even after being granted quadruple rations, Tarrare would still be digging through the trash pile whenever he got the chance. After suffering extreme exhaustion, he was sent off to the military
He was like that one guy from the stories, you know, in like fairy tales. We have the one that sees a lot, the one that drinks a lot, and the one that eats a lot. He was an eating guy from the stories.
The staff there was so dumbfounded by the man's abilities that they decided to keep him there to run a few experiments. The first of which involved putting Tarrare in a room with a meal prepared for 15 people. Naturally, he ate the entire thing and immediately fell asleep. Next, they presented him with a raw eel. In response, Tarrare crushed the eel's skull between his teeth before slurping down the entire creature in one go. Now, this is
Wow, the throat goat.
clenchingly horrifying for a couple of reasons. Firstly, he put a whole frickin' eel in his stomach.
Yeah, like the bones and everything, man. You know what I mean?
But secondly, there had to be some point during digestion where the meat was gone but the bones still remained.
Yeah.
Now, for those of you who don't know, an eel skeleton looks like this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I guess at least those are small. And this... Oh, man. How's this man alive?
That means Tarrare had all of those needle-sized ribs stabbing into the walls of his stomach at once, and he was fine. He also ripped a live cat apart with his bare hands, drank its blood, and ate everything but its...
Kitty! How does he not die of salmonella?
bones, and then later gagged up the fur and skin like an owl, but, you know, that's neither here nor there. After reviewing our data, I've come to the scientific conclusion that, yeah, we got a goddamn demon on our hands. But as we all know, with great devour comes great responsibility. Since Tarrare was still technically enlisted, the military decided to utilize his abilities for the greater good. Hey Tarrare, it's me, the General. Listen, could you eat this box with a note in it for me? If you do, it will give...
Okay, how do you... What? But for what reason? What? Dude.
Be a wheelbarrow full of bull organs. Lo and behold, 2 days later, he passed the container in mint condition and was given...
Okay. We've been thinking about his mouth and stomach. But that back door, the back door is wide open too, bro. That back door gotta be square after that.
his reward as promised. With this proof of concept, they made him an official spy and sent him into Prussia with a document in his belly to be delivered to an imprisoned French colonel. Unfortunately, there are a couple things Tarrare couldn't do that are generally important when sneaking into another country. A, he couldn't speak German, and B, it's pretty hard to maintain a low profile when you're running around like a madman, wolfing down garbage and mutilating small...
I don't think this is the most inconspicuous spy you could have.
Animals. So he ended up being captured by the enemy. Initially, he kept his mouth shut, for once, but after a whipping and a day in jail, Tarrare gave in. After confessing that he did, in fact, have vital intelligence snaking its way through his GI tract, the Prussians chained him to a latrine until the box emerged 30 hours later. The note wasn't actually anything...
So wait, there's a Prussia and a Russia? Please clarify. Love of French. It is confusion. It is confusion because Prussia was like German.
important, so they just mock executed him, gave him a severe beating, and sent him on his way. After all that, Tarrare returned to life at the hospital.
Okay, that's very kind of them to just fake execute him and send him back.
Desperate for a cure for his condition, but nothing they ever tried worked.
Tobacco, opium, vinegar, juice cleanse. Tell him to just quit being a fat ass. Throat cork. Keep up and start business making IRL vor. Well, We'll see which one works, I guess.
Meanwhile, the man's endless hunger continued to get him into all sorts of trouble. He'd often sneak out of the hospital to eat the scraps behind the local butcher and fight stray dogs in the alley for their precious
That's
garbage.
crazy.
He'd also seek out patients undergoing bloodletting in order to take all their life juice for himself. On several occasions,
Okay. Yeah, how is he still alive?
he was even caught attempting to eat bodies in the mortuary. By this point in my research, I was so desensitized to this guy that I didn't even bat an eye when I first read that. I was just like, alright, guess he must have been hungry.
Yeah,
anyway,
he was
the
hungry.
hospital staff begrudgingly tolerated Tarrare's buffoonery.
Me when I'm hungry and I see a suspiciously U-shaped meal.
Until one day when he went too far. Well, Tarrare, you've only had 3 mess hall raids, 4 miscellaneous trash-related mishaps, and 1 cadaver defiling. So I'd say, so far, this week's been pretty good. Doctor, we should probably inform you that a 14-month-old child has gone missing from their room. Tarrare, look at me. Did you eat a fucking baby? Tarrare was promptly kicked out of the hospital and spent 4 years
He
out
was
and about
hungry.
doing, whatever.
Must have been hungry. That's crazy.
Shit you can imagine. When he came back, he was suffering from advanced tuberculosis and died shortly after arrival.
Oh.
During his autopsy, the surgeons found that when they looked into his mouth, they could see all the way down his throat and into his stomach cavity. As you can imagine, his whole abdominal region was profoundly deformed. Basically, if this is a normal human, this is what they found inside Tarrare. Just like the man's
baby
mind,
girl,
we can
the
see
shape of you is absurd. Yo, Anwick, thank you for the 5 subs. Thank you so much. Thank you. Wow, thank you, man. Yeah. Out of everything that could have killed him, it was tuberculosis. Yeah, I mean, probably eating all that shit didn't help the tuberculosis. Wait, isn't tuberculosis like in the lungs?
that around 90% is devoted towards food and 10% towards everything else.
Yeah, okay, yeah, that makes sense. He probably like killed his. He like. There was no lung space, chat.
So, moral of the story here is that, no, you know what? Not even I can find anything resembling a moral here. Not all stories have a point to them.
Not.
Sometimes they're just sad and disgusting from beginning to end.
Yeah, I guess.
And now a word from our sponsor. As you can probably tell,
Damn, sponsor at the end. Wow, this is beautiful.
I'm a very visual person when it comes to learning. I firmly believe that engaging visuals are an essential teaching tool that allows for much deeper comprehension than plain old walls of text. That's why I'm pleased to introduce our sponsor, Brilliant.org. We all know that math and science are really important to master, and Brilliant's elegant UI and step-by-step design makes learning seemingly complex topics very intuitive, especially for visual learners. Their straightforward graphics, delightful animations, and interactive puzzles make it easy and fun to hone your own critical thinking skills. Personally, I've always been super intrigued by neural networks.
You got
and
a
all the things you
PhD
can do with
here,
them,
really?
But I've always been too intimidated to research them in depth. After learning about Brilliant, I actually started taking their course in the subject, and I gotta say, it's been such a pleasurable experience that I plan to continue with it.
Coolest part is bunch of hours watching. Oh shit, you're right. It's probably a very whole video. Well, thanks for watching. I normally don't skip, because I'm reacting, so I might as well. Oh shit. Yeah, the code might have 70 years. Okay, yeah, the code might have expired. Wait, he died at 26? Damn, so he did all that shit pretty young, bro. He did so much. Lived to the fullest, man. Ate a baby, allegedly. Okay, allegedly ate a baby, but we don't know, we'll never know. Did you know that I have merch now? That is right, I have a merch. I have keychains, hoodies, sweatpants, shorts, standees, and also this beautiful mousepad that is 100% very, very, very accurate to my proportions. So if you like anything you see, why don't head down to the link in the description and grab something, it would help a lot.